Hello everyone. According to the stream, we are supposed to be live. So I'm just going to wait for until on my other screen I can actually see anything. And then the first thing that I'm going to ask is if everybody is hearing me. Please comment down below so I know that there's not a problem with the audio, and then we can get started and we can talk about character design. So let me know if everything is okay. At least YouTube says everything should be okay. So yeah, okay, awesome. We hear. Thank you. I hope you all have been okay. Last time we saw each other was on Sunday, and we did like a very beautiful coloring of some flowers. And usually flowers are the thing that let's say I'm good at, okay? Because I've been practicing flowers for forever because I like flowers. But actually what I like more is to write stories and to tell a story. Adriana, hi Marlena, by the way. Right, I keep forgetting to greet everybody. Okay, I need to do better this this stuff. Okay, then everything is okay. Thank you. So I had many stories in my mind that I actually want to illustrate, and the stories actually initially when I was younger I always wanted to write books, and I wrote a few novels, a few short novels that were published like when I used to be in school, in the school newsletter or other parts. So I always was doing stories in my mind, right? But I was never able to illustrate them because I am not very good at illustrating, especially faces and anything. So this was my goal. My end goal is that in a few years I can actually reach some illustration goals, so I can actually put to paper all the stuff that I'm thinking, all the ideas and all the characters. So until then, I still have lots of them. I still have lots of characters and I still want to do it. So I need to kind of collaborate with people, right? So until I can actually get better. I mean, I did some of the faces myself and some of the things, but I'm still not very good at, so I'm still trying. So this time I collaborated again with my husband. For people that don't know, my husband is also an illustrator. He is much better at me at faces and everything. So hi, Johan. So I asked him if he could collaborate with me on a series of stories. So I always wanted to tell a story of this world that has witches and heroes in it. And it's kind of like a middle world where people from different dimensions, get thrown in. Different characteristics. It can be animal, it can be anything. And they are on their own journey for making a better world, basically, right? This is the story that I wanted, and I'm going to mix some paint first because paint is the most important. So the way me and my husband have been collaborating on this is we've set aside sometimes. I mean, we don't start painting or we don't start necessarily sketching. What we start is with the story, right? We start with so what's this world about? How many characters do we want to focus on? Are they friends? Are they enemies? So we sometimes so I'm going to use perlin violet because I want to do the background. So I'm going to create a big puddle of that. Okay. So what we do is we really start with just talking about it, and then we have an idea about the characters. I'm going to say, do they have pets? Do they not? How did they meet? Where do they live? Where do they go to hang out? So over the course of a couple of weeks, we were doing these sessions, like sometimes 1 hour, sometimes, once a week. We had these sessions where we were just talking about them. We decided on some names. We were thinking, okay, yeah, let me tell you what the inspiration was also for the name and for everything. So I'm going to try the color right now to make sure that it is exactly what I'm thinking it is. Yeah, that's the color I want. So I'm gonna move this one a little bit. I think it's easier for me to draw on the other side. Okay. So we came up with this world idea. We came up with kind of 6 main characters, and each main character has also a pet or a spirit animal or things like that. And one of them was Maximillian, or in short, Max. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about Max and how he came up with this story. And it's a very funny story about the name because, you know, I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm using a very big brush. It's a number 10. And I'm going to go and do the... So I need to concentrate also. So this is Maximillian. He's a wizard, but he's a wizard warrior class kind of thing. So he can wield magic swords. And he's... Okay, I hope everybody can see. He can wield magic swords. The funny part is we wanted the characters to be, you know, based on real life. So how did we come up with, you know, I sometimes get stuck on an image of, it can be a colleague, and in this particular case, it was a colleague together with somebody else on the internet that we came across. And we were thinking, okay, Max, what's his deal? So he's a warrior wizard. He always carries a sword. The sword always looks very rugged, right? And very interesting, but it really depends on the foe that he's fighting, and then the sword becomes, you know, much more proficient. So it's like a magic sword that will sense the powers of that one. So sometimes when you just look at him and you meet him on the street, you're thinking, what is this guy doing here? And why is this guy, like, this guy is a weakling or something like that? But don't get them started. The cool thing about Max is, or Maximilian, he also has a last name, and his last name is, actually, initially we wanted to say Oak Heart or Oak, but then it sounded much more like Lord of the Rings, and I didn't want to go there. But then we came up with the Latin name of oak, which is Quercus, or also it's a Spanish name. So what we came up with were that he's around on end of his 50s. So, you know, he's not a young guy anymore. He has lots of experience, right? And he's kind of also the mentor figure of, you know, our band of mythical heroes. And I was actually thinking about it because I used to read these books in the past. They were called Myth, and they were from Frank Asprin. And Myth got translated into... very funny. I'm just gonna drop water here, and I'm just gonna let it do its thing, because I want to add like lots of texture to this stuff. So just adding water and letting it dry like that. Okay. So Maximilian Quercus, let's say 56-year-old, right? And he's a wizard, and he's kind of a mentor for a lot of the younger people in our group of 6. And he's been around for quite some time, right? He's been fighting evil for quite some time, so he has quite a few tricks of himself. But you know, he can look quite fierce when he wants to, and in this case, this is what you see. Actually, my idea was somebody with like completely nice white hair, and I found, you know, quite some people that I modeled him. There's this model on the internet. He's a very old guy. he still models in his 70s, and he has this cool white hair. Pretty fun. And then I also have a colleague at work, very good colleague, who has kind of the similar thing. He has also white hair, but he's much younger, but still white hair, you know, because you can still have white hair. Kind of very similar hairdo, and he always sports this this funny mustache and beard, and he's always very groomed, right? So this is kind of what we had in mind, right? And the name Maximillian, this is where the funny story is. According to the legend, I was not supposed to be a girl because my mom wanted a boy, right? And hi, Mom, I know you're watching, so, you know, I hope you're okay with me sharing this. Anyway, my mom wanted always a boy, and she already made up the name that the boy is going to have and everything. And the name of the boy, if I were a boy, if I was born a boy, on that time they didn't have scans or anything, they couldn't figure out if I really was a boy or not. Not like nowadays, right? I'm pretty old myself also. So I would have been called Maximillian, and that is because my mom was a very big fan of Alexandre Dumas books. Don't know if you guys read them, with the Three Musketeers and so on. And one of those books is called Madame de Montsoreau, and it's a really beautiful love story. I think I always wondered why they never made an adaptation of this beautiful love story. No spoilers, but there's a lot of drama involved. And the main character, like the lover of this lady, was called Maximilien de Bussy. He was a very awesome swordsman, right? And that's why my mom wanted me to basically have this name. So if I would have been a guy, I would have been called Maximilian. But I didn't get to be a guy. I got to be a girl, so I got called Claudia. So and that's the end of the story. And the funny story about my name was because also my mom liked Claudia Cardinale. Don't know if you know her. She's a very famous model on my mom's time, like a supermodel or something. And yeah, that's how I got my name, Claudia. So this is kind of the texture that I'm going to a little bit, and I'm going to, of course, do a little bit different things. I wanted to do a kind of bouquet. So I have tissue paper and I have a coin. The coin is 1 cent, right? I'm wrapping it around the tissue paper, and I'm going to try to lift some of the okay. Maybe a little bit too much lifting. Let's try to do some more lifting. Now this time a little bit less. Okay. Right. I'm trying different things, okay? This is experimentation for me as well. This is not like I ever did this before. So we'll see how it goes. Gonna try the bigger one. Okay. It's interesting. So we're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna, deepen up the texture and everything. I just want to see how it is when it's dry. I'm going to do the tiny areas here in between. Okay, so we So we came up with this. So this is the story of this character, and I think this is what sometimes you need to do. Like, we didn't necessarily go too deep in it, right? Some people go over and over very deep into character design, and so people go like as much as saying what type of mental illnesses they have, or what type of hobbies and so on. We came up with just a few stories, like a few base stories. We know who he's very close to from the list of friends, and we know we made some stories about how did they meet and etc etc. Let me see if this works. Okay. And then we started looking. Some people we didn't have necessarily, so I had some people in mind because I scoured the internet, and I see faces either in movies or in pictures, or just from real people, and they are imprinted in my head, and I'm like, I always will associate this character with this face, right? So I'm trying to kind of go with that. So what we decided is we're gonna write it all down, and it's very important that you write it all down. And then we went into sketching. Well, my husband mostly did lots of the sketching and so on, because he's much better at drawing people. I think we already established that. And usually I would just find him pictures of or instances of pictures in certain situations that I would like to be able to imagine them in and to draw them in, right? So basically what I was doing in this entire collaboration, I was doing mood boards, right? And ideas, and my husband was doing the sketching and the drawing and everything, which actually worked out pretty well. And this is Max. We also have, because I have another video on this channel, and you can see it on my Instagram account as well. I have another painting of Max, and that painting is Max with Artosh, which is the other character that we built. And they're in a forest, and that is the scene where they actually meet in the forest, all trying to get the same flower. Max because the flower is a medicinal flower, Artosh because he was a mercenary before, and Artosh is like a fox humanoid, basically. He has the body and the face of a fox, but that sits on two legs like a human. He's a mercenary, and he actually comes from a planet that is much more technologically advanced. So this planet is more about magic and so on. And Artosh comes from a planet where they have laser guns and so on. So he always walks around with a laser gun. But on this first encounter, he befriends Max because they end up fighting together because they get attacked by, the actual evil guys. And because they fight together and they save each other, they become eventually very good friends. So the other painting we did is we have it on my Instagram account, and to be honest, that one was a very big piece. I don't know what we were thinking at that moment. I think it took me almost 20 or so hours to actually paint and to actually do. It was a forest, lots of things. So ever since then, we kind of stopped a little bit with the project for a while because the project had, we got busy with something else. I got busy with actually thinking I actually want to start learning how to paint myself. At that time I kind of knew how to watercolor, and I was getting very good at doing flowers. So this is kind of it. So for now I did the background, right? Pretty much textured. I really like this. It's like an effect of, you don't know where he is. Like he could be in the void walking walking through the void and getting to his destination. And he's very careful because when you're walking with in the void, and by the way, the void is going to come back many times because some other character has quite some dealings with the void, right? And this is in the void he's going to meet the girl that he's going to become the mentor, and the girl will okay. And the void is a place where, you know, all sorts of ghosts are, and all these people that walk through the ghosts, they don't realize that they are in this void, right? And the only one realizing is this guy. But you do have to take care that nobody notices that you are aware of being in the void and walking around. So you have to be very careful, skilled magician to walk around, right? So but it does provide fast transport between points, right? You have to take care of because there are some void monsters and some void parts that you should be avoiding. Okay, so this is like, you can see that we already fought about very hard about many aspects of his life and what he's doing and so on. Which part should I do? I think I wanna. So the armor is going to be a combination of yellow, red, and green because well, this is nice. And by the way, surprise, surprise, my husband made the color combination. He actually is working also on improving himself, and he made a really cool color combination. And I'll explain the color combination why the red and why the hair works the way it will work and so on. So I'm going to start with this part because I want to let this one dry out a bit, so I can make maybe some branches going like this, like right. And I'll think about how we're gonna do that, and I want to make the margins a little bit more darker. Okay, so let's mix a green, and I'm going to mix a green here, and I'm going to make two greens. Which greens should I do? I'm going to make permanent green, which is a cool green. So I'm going to take quite some of this cool green, and I'm going to mix it. So in here you see the palette, right? So I use this one, the perlin violet, and now I'm taking the permanent green and I'm going to mix it with the sap green. And the sap green is going to bring the warmth in everything that we do. So I'm gonna rinse my brush, and I'm going to take sap green. I don't want to take May green because that's way too neony, but sap green is going to bring the warmth into this one. Okay. Yeah, it's a nice green. Let me see the color. Yeah, this is a good color. You see? So permanent green with sap green. Mix the big puddle, but actually it's gonna be only these parts that are going to be this green. I'm trying to also let all of this dry out so that I don't mess it up. Okay, we're gonna add shadows later on. Okay, initially in my initial drawing, in my initial illustration, I wasn't very good at. I didn't know how to do trees. I didn't know how to do a lot of things. And I made his pants purple. It's so funny that initially how I was like, what color? And I was like, okay, he's more of an oldie guy and he's gonna go with these crazy colors and so on. And yeah, this is what I thought that he's going to be like. But now he kind of evolves, into leather and stuff. So, he needs to evolve with time. And I'm really glad that I can collaborate with somebody on these ideas because, sometimes sometimes people that just start, maybe you give up because you had all these ideas in your head, but you can never act on them because you're thinking, well, it's going to take me forever till I learn how to draw a face or till I learn how to draw something. I don't think we should give up on our dreams. and you know, these are my dreams, and these are my parts. Okay, I'm going to mix a red for the other parts of the armor, and then this is gonna be a dark yellow, right? And this is gonna be leather. So all of these parts is dark yellow. I thought about making them with oh, good evening, Andre. Hi, how are you? How's it going? How are the cats? I'm asking all these questions in a very rapid fire way, right? So what am I going to... I'm going to mix this red cadmium light with a little bit of orange, because I want to have orangey red. So this is what I'm going to do. So sorry if you see my my hand here. Don't know if you can see this. You don't see this. You don't see what I'm doing. So I'm mixing cadmium red light, and this is a schminke color. It's a really nice red, and I'm mixing it with basically transparent orange to make it much warmer. Okay, so where were we? Character design. Yeah, character design. I've been following a lot of people because I like to watch artists that are much further away from me, so I like to find somebody that I can aspire to be like, right? And I follow a lot of artists that are doing this type of illustrations. More orange. And I noticed that every time they do a character design, they kind of do the same steps like me. Yeah, that's a good one. We're gonna add some... maybe I need to add a little bit of this purple. A little bit of purple. Let's see what it does. Oh yeah, it brings the value much down. So purple mutes the colors, right? Okay, let me show you. I added a little bit of purple. Look how that one got muted. I don't even know if you can see it. That's the question. Okay, I can see it. It's enough. If I can see it, it has to be true. Okay, let's see if I mixed enough of this. We're gonna add more darker colors at the end, right? It's okay. We're gonna make it. And they like to make the characters from different sides, like frontal character, side character, crouching, different positions. How would he look like? Different weapons, different situations, and only that character. So another thing is they get to learn how to draw it, because they will draw it multiple times, the same character. What you see a lot of people doing, and I think this is important if you ever want to pick up character design, is you're not going to make a character and then never come back to it, right? You're going to make a character many, many times. You're going to make a character and you're going to remake him, and you're going to put him in different situations. And this is how some people get to be able to maybe draw a character without reference or without anything, because they draw that character so many times. And it's very similar to what I was doing let me position myself. It is very common to do that, and this is exactly what I'm doing with the flowers, right? I draw these flowers over and over again, the same type of flower, the same flower every day, right? The same rose, slightly modified, slightly advanced, right? But basically I create this library in my head, and it's the same thing that happens when you're creating a character, because it will become your character of the story, and that character you will know how to draw many times. Hi Florian. And you will draw so many times that you will know everything about the character, and you can put him in new and improved situations without having to worry, right? Because you've drawn him from, or her, from so many positions, right? Which is actually the whole point of maybe character design. Maybe we're not there yet. I mean, we will be. But I'm really impressed by the progress. So in just maybe less than 2 years, it came from this rough idea, and they weren't very much. I'm adding even more dots here because I like the armor to be a bit distressed. I'm going to mix again because I need to mix. I didn't mix enough color to do this part as well. Let's hope that we get the same color. So then majority of the people would have only a very finite set of characters that they do. They will not go way crazy, right? So now people can say anything, but to be honest, a lot of artists get into a style, right? Get into a way of drawing a character, and then they will stick with their style because that's what the style that they get good into, right? So all their characters kind of look very similar. Okay. And that's a good thing and that's a bad thing. I think I would like to change my style. I'm always thinking that I would like to change my style once in a while so I don't get bored. Because to be honest, sometimes I'm thinking, okay, so you find a style that is successful, people are gonna like it. Let's say that I start drawing witches. Let's say that I start with a theme and I'm looking sideways because my cat is thinking of joining me and I'm afraid he's gonna make a mess on the desk. Hi Hub. Okay, he's now trying to figure out whether watercolors are edible. It was so funny this morning. Oh god, I need to tell you guys the story. But okay, first we're gonna talk about, let's assume that I start drawing witches. They become very popular. I'm very good at drawing witches, and then I draw witches for years and years and years, and I'm becoming very good at. But then I will never have time to actually experiment and do different styles or different things. Oh no, not. I have the coins, and he's like, I'm going to take them off the table. Okay, I think it needs a little bit more darker to be. And yeah, I saw a lot of people taking a break also from things like YouTube and so on, just because they wanted to try new styles, but they didn't feel like the style they were portraying would fit with the audience. And I kind of did the same, right? I started my audience or my YouTube channel, which is doing card making, totally different from what I'm doing now. Well, not totally different. It was still using watercolors and so on, but using stamps. And that's okay. I mean, that is my start. It's not like I knew how to draw coming out of the tree monkey, and then I start becoming a far-fetched artist. I do not believe that people are born with some sort of capability innate when they are born and they go like, oh yeah, my cat is playing now with the coins. It's okay. We'll figure it out. You see why it's good to mix the same color always, so that you don't have this problem like me, because I think I did a more darker color on this side. It's okay. We'll fix it. I'll do a second layer on the other side. So I don't know how to avoid that part, right? How do I avoid getting into a trap of always doing the same character design and always doing the same ideas, right? I would assume that, and these guys, there was these guys that they were having this very famous design company, and what they were doing, like every 7 years or something like that, they would close their doors. They would not accept any, or 5 years, they would not accept any commissions, anything, and they would go in a basically a 1 year hiatus or 1 year kind of sabbatical, where they would refresh, they would get new ideas, they would travel the world just to get inspired again, and they would start again with totally new ideas and totally new designs. And they were always at the forefront of design, like people were following them, because then all the designs companies were going to start basically doing the same as they were doing. So, but they needed that year to recharge. They needed that year to stop doing the style that they were doing and, get on and do a different style. And, that's okay. I think that is an okay thing to do. And I'm thinking also, like, even if I do get good at doing this style of painting, let's say, or flowers or whatever, I do think that it's important to take a break and reconnect and do something totally different. So that's why I try to keep things entertaining on the channel or everywhere where I do, because I don't want to necessarily only focus on flowers or necessarily only focus on faces and so on. And I know that it doesn't work in my favor, especially with YouTube, where people expect a sort of continuity, right? Which is weird. But for me as an artist, I want to do that. We'll see how these two dry out, right? This one is still pretty much not drying, and this one is still drying out. I'm thinking I need to do the yellow now. I need to mix an yellow. And I'm thinking new gamboge with a little bit of the purple, And the reason why we're doing this with yellow and so on is actually because the hair is going to be bluish lavender. And if you think about it, green with yellow makes blue. Ooh, I'm thinking, yeah, green with yellow makes blue. Red with yellow makes orange. So they all kind of get together and they all kind of are in a perfect harmony, right? So that's why. Okay, I'm going to do this new gamboge, which is like a nice yellow. And I'm going to even deepen it more. And this time I'm going to make enough of a puddle. I'm noticing that I'm avoiding the face because I want to make sure that I take my time on the face. I don't want him to look like all my other faces, like The Simpsons. So I'm scared. Okay. So you see, I darkened the yellow by just adding purple, right? So that's all. And I'm going to do these sides, and then we're gonna see how things go. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. We're gonna darken some of these sides later on. I do not worry about that because we're gonna have to add the shadows and everything. So I don't worry about it now. Always the first layers are not that interesting because the first layers in any painting is going to look like very weird. So I don't worry about it. We're gonna deepen all these colors, add shadows in, and so on. Hope you have your entire evening set up here, because that's how long it's going to take. And it's only Wednesday, huh? Okay. More character design stories. When I was younger, and I had these friends, and we were all kind of competing with each other in writing novels and publishing, and having our own stories and our own ideas. We were also very big fans of sci-fi, so sci-fi was always a big influence in anything I wrote. I mean, I was a very big fan of Asimov and Frank Herbert and Arthur C. Clarke, and I was reading them like crazy. So all my earlier stories, and what we used to do is we used to walk together because we were in the same high school. And she used to say, we used to have like 20 minutes till we reach home from the high school walking. And one day she would say one of her stories to me, with all the characters and what happened and so on. And another day I would tell my story, right? So we would give each other critic, and that would be that. So this is how I basically started with these novels. I even started writing a bigger one. I had a plan of a really big novel. Like it had 12 chapters and all. And the idea was that there was this android that there was this girl that gets transported into another world, and she falls in love, basically. Well, falls in love. She meets an android on this other world that is trying to help her escape. Look, I forgot some spaces here with the purple. And the story goes into trying to escape from this world, and the android always wanted to help her. And then in the end they need to find this firebird that would grant them one wish, but she wishes for him to become human instead of herself being sent home, right? So that was kind of the idea of the story. I want to make the middle of this sword differently, so I'm gonna make sure that we have that one. This is just the first layer. Okay. This is where the yellows are. This is where the yellows are at. I think I need here some purple, here in between some purple. I'm gonna take a smaller brush because I don't want to make a mess. So I've been trying my hand at the writing. Of course, I'm not always very good at it, and I had totally different ideas. But you know why I think I have so many different ideas? Because actually all these stories, I don't see in words the stories. I don't know if it make any sense. I see them in pictures, maybe like a director would, or like a movie, like a movie director. I see scenes and I see things that happen. I see entire scenes. I don't see a picture in my head. So this is like the difference maybe. And I'm trying to depict the scene that I'm seeing. Okay, like this scene is taking out of an entire thing that this guy has done. And it, like, everybody is different. Not everybody has the same eye. Not everybody thinks the same, and not everybody sees things the same. Everybody's, let's say, imagination are different. The way you're imagining, the way you're thinking about people, it's all very different. So, do what you have to do to get things done. That's the least I can say. Okay. I need to really drink some water. I'm hoping my nose doesn't make a problem. I think it's something to do with pollen outside or something, because my nose and my throat and everything has been stuck lately. So I need to drink a lot of water because my nose gets blocked, and this is a really bad time for people that have trouble with pollen. Okay, how is everybody? How's Marlena? And how's everybody? Let me know if everybody's still there and still okay, and you're not bored of my weird stories about character design. I wondered. Okay, I thought I made a mess on the reason why I have these backgrounds on my table is because I don't want to mess up my table. I hate a messy table, especially since it's wood and it will stain. So I always have these extras on the table. Okay. So now, I think these parts are also yellow. So I'll mix some more yellow a little bit, because I need that. And this yellow is being mixed with some purple, so that it makes it more darker yellow. Conversely, you could use yellow ochre, I think. My nose was completely stuck today because of the pollen. Yeah. Listen to me talk, because you can see that my nose is also stuck, right? Okay. My nose is also totally stuck. It's such a weird thing. It's funny because I never had pollen problem in the past, but in the last year it's becoming worse, and I'm not sure why. Could be because I haven't gone outside that much lately or something, but wow. Eyes burning, everything burning. Right. Okay. These are just the rim, right? And I want to do it with this nice yellow, darker yellow. And then the belts, of course, are gonna be leather, and then the leather is gonna be brown, so it's gonna bring these two pieces together, and then we're gonna just deepen all the colors, and that should be fine. Okay. What else is yellow? There's nothing else yellow. Okay. Now all our characters in the story, they live in this world and they have a home base, right? From which either they learn magic, they go on adventures, and the adventures that they go on. So I'm gonna let this one dry, and I'm going to try to work on the background again, because that background has dried out. Okay. And then we're gonna start deepening everything and adding extra colors and extra things. I'm going to need some more of the perlin. So perlin, violet, this color. I'm gonna mix another puddle here, and I really like to work with a very big brush because it holds lots of water and lots of paint. Okay, so okay. So their home base is this really old castle with kind of like, in a way, Harry Potterish. Is there such a thing as a Harry Potterish castle? Right? And in there, like the oldest person there is a really old wizard, like a few hundred years old. he's the owner of the castle, and he's doing all sorts of weird magics and so on. So, and he's gathering all these bands of riffraffs and so on, because he's fighting evil. And in this castle, you know, everybody has their own room, everybody has their own, you know, space, and the castle is big enough for that, for everybody to have this. And some of the group are more nomadic, because, you know, they travel the world helping others, and, you know, doing the good deeds. And some of them are still young, so they they are mainly staying there in the castle, and, you know, maybe learning magic and so on. Maybe a lot of the young ones have developed magic all of a sudden because of a traumatic event, and sometimes they have developed very powerful magic that they don't know yet how to control. So Max is also one of the maybe older and more experienced ones, and that's why he's also a mentor to some of them. Okay. So we have a young witch who is very into plants and potions, right? She's like a potions master. She's very young. And we have kind of a druid priestess that is like having nice horns and everything, and she walks the forest, and she helps the inhabitants of forest to defeat evil beings. We have, of course, Artosh, who is the fox dude, mercenary, and, you know, coming from a technological advanced world, but very much needed because he gets sent into all sorts of dangerous missions together with Max, you know, to retrieve precious artifacts or anything that might be in need to be saved from basically from the void and from the evil dudes. Okay. So we haven't yet, you know what, we haven't decided yet, like, when are their birthdays and which zodiac sign do we think would best match them. That is something we haven't done yet. Maybe partially because we don't necessarily believe in zodiac signs, right? But in a fantasy world, maybe we should actually take that into account, you know, to create some new zodiac signs or some new, like, planets, things, you know, you never know. I need a brown now, and I need a gray. Okay, I'm gonna try Payne's gray, but very much diluted. So it's not Payne's gray blue, it's just Payne's gray. And Payne's gray, it's a much diluted kind of gray. I'm going to add lots of water to it. And I'm going to do the base layer of things, and then I'm going to add brown on top, right? So let's go. I'm trying hard not to touch things, so I'm going to go with just this load. By the way, the light is coming from this direction, if you're thinking. Yeah, allergies are really bad. I wonder if one of my characters should have an allergy. That would be something. I'm gonna use the Payne's gray to be kind of the shadow, and then I'm going to just paint on top, and that's fine, right? The funny part is that I should have made the shadow. Or no, the shadow is okay here. It's on the inside. I'm just looking at it in reverse and I'm thinking, oh, did I mistake the shadow somehow? Okay, that's good. I'm gonna try to do those ones with gray, and then I'm going to mix a nice brown. Okay. You'll see how it goes together. So, the edges are gray. Hopefully we can do that. I'm gonna do everything gray, and then we're gonna add a second layer with brown. So, Maximillian Quercus. Now you might have wondered. Have you wondered, actually? Right. Does this man have a love life? I mean, he's 56 years old. What has he been doing all this time? Or is he kind of a nerd like the rest of us, and he is not doing anything interesting? That is the question. So I'm going to ask the audience now. What do you think? Does he have a family or not? Or should he have a family? Or should he have a girlfriend or wife? Or maybe he fancies somebody and he's afraid to say it. Could be, right? He's a warrior, and warriors are not very good with words. So, while I'm painting here and I'm making the layer underneath, I'm going to let you guys ponder that. And oh my god, my nose is so stuck. Allergies, allergies, allergies. This is really annoying. At least I'm hoping it's an allergy, it's not something else. So, should I make up a story? Are you guys ready? He has a sad, sad story. So actually, he used to like another mage in the past when he was younger. And that other mage was the mother of one of our youngest protagonists. Okay? And he used to like her, but he has a family, a wife and 3 kids. Really, Laura? Okay. And one more on the way. Oh my god. Okay. I need to change my story now. he has a wife. Okay, yes, then let's go with that. So he has a wife, 3 kids, and another one on the way, but with somebody else. Okay. Okay, this is starting to be very, very interesting. Okay. So he cheated on his wife. That's what you're saying. Okay, that's interesting. Somebody else. Would that somebody else be like a villain? Him being the hero, did he get in love somehow with the villain? What do you think, Laura? Would that be the love story in here? Would that be the interesting part? Okay, I need actually Naples yellow red. Like the hero having an affair with the villain. And the villain getting the child. Or they split. Okay, so at least we give him a way out. He still needs to be the good hero, the person that doesn't necessarily, Okay, I'm going to try to do the face. And I'm using Naples yellow red. Okay. And I'm going to add it like this, and then we're gonna, of course, the face is going to get, it's going to get all the shadows and everything, but for now I'm just doing it more uniform. And don't forget the ears, because the ears also need to, oh, need to have some space. Okay, this or no, this would be a good plot twist. What the one with the villain, would it be a good plot twist, right? Thinking or not. Yeah. So he doesn't know that he has the third child on the way, right? Because the villain, of course, they had an affair, and then he's like, I will never see you again, because, you know, if I see you again, I will have to kill you because you're the villain, and so on. And you know, she has a kid on the way. Yeah, the one with the villain. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's very good. So that's the base layer. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm going to make his eyes green. It's gonna be fun. So his eyes are green. You know, there was a saying when I was young, and my mom used to tell me, green eyes, never to trust. You know? Never trust green eyes. Don't know why she was saying that. I wonder. Almost nobody I knew had green eyes, so it's not like I ever encountered anything of that caliber. Okay, and the middle is gonna be super dark. Okay, so the villain goes and you know, has a son, and or is it the daughter? What do you think? The villainess. Would she make a daughter, or would we say no? It's a I would say a daughter. Why not? Yes. She has a daughter, and the daughter has lots of strong magical power because she inherits from, well, her dad, who is a very big wizard, right? And many others. And the villainous mother, right? We don't know yet the name, but we are pretty sure that they will meet because, you know, the daughter wants to, you know, take revenge on him because, like, why did he go and you know, basically not take care of her. I think I forgot to do the nipples onto the lips and so on. So these are the lips here, and we're gonna do this like this. We're gonna add lots of the details later on. I need some blue. Let's take some blue. Which blue should I take? Okay. I also need to concentrate on this, so it's very hard sometimes to concentrate on painting if I need to think about the story all of a sudden. Okay, I should have let that one dry. Okay, I'm just gonna let that one dry first, because otherwise the color is just gonna run into it. You see what the importance of letting things dry is. Okay, now what would be a nice brown color out of all of this? I think maybe a burnt umber would be nice. Burnt umber is a nice color. And I'm gonna make a puddle while everything else dries, and I'm going to, you know, use the brown. So the daughter starts training magical arts. She becomes also a very powerful magician. She can control a lot of elements. So she's gonna be an elemental mage, right? She's not gonna necessarily have maybe the same proficiency as her dad with certain elements, but certainly she's getting very close, right? And then initially, because she's being raised by her mom, she's going to be, of course, on the side of, I'm not gonna say on the side of evil, but yeah, technically you could say that. And she starts, trying to steal artifacts and do things. So they would meet eventually, and he will have to make a very hard decision. Does he stop her? Does he arrest her? Or is he going to let her go because she's his daughter? That's the question that we have here. Would the father-daughter bond be important enough or strong enough once they meet to actually, for him to either help her or forgive her? Or do you think not? And what do you think that the guy's friends gonna think when they gonna find out that he has a daughter with a villain? Now that's gonna be an interesting discussion. I'm pretty sure Arthur's not gonna say anything. He's gonna go like, yeah, sure, man. Doesn't matter. But maybe the others will have something to say about it. I'm pretty sure the wife will have something to say about it. I did a mistake here, but I'm correcting it. Okay. But now, besides the story and everything, we've decided that whenever we're gonna do these characters and whenever I'm going to paint them or anything, we're gonna take a different approach, an approach where we're gonna do color compositions and small thumbnails, and my husband is gonna help me to decide like where is the light coming from, what's the best way of doing this. Because so far in my previous live streams I went pretty much with no plan, right? I didn't test things before. I didn't know how colors are going to look like. I didn't know almost anything. So now what we're doing is we are making plans and we are making proper color combinations, and it actually does help because it also gives you a little bit of a peace of mind when you're doing stuff. What I'm going to do in order to really deepen all the shadows, I'm just going to add lots of deepening everywhere, but I'm going to add it with black because I do believe it needs a lot of shadows. I want it to be popping out everywhere, so that's why. So don't get scared if I'm going to start adding black and so on when it gets dry. Okay. The question will be, I think I need to make a series out of it and make prints. Artosh and the gang. That would be fun. I wonder why didn't I think of that at doing that at Inktober. That would have been fun. But then again, at Inktober I want to do flowers. So And I'm going to add more shadows. Okay, if you guys saw me drop off, it was because I was really concentrating on figuring out where the shadows are and where does this one look like. In the same time, I'm thinking that crystals, what are extra colors is going to have, etc, etc, etc. So I am thinking like the nice red that I used before for his armor, but much more concentrated. So, by the way, the sword can, you know, gather magical power. So every time he defeats a monster, his sword will be basically absorbing the power of that monster, and you know, I'll make that one a different color, but now I already did it with red, so I'm not gonna scrape it off. I'm just gonna add on top, and it's gonna be fine. Okay. I need a little bit of the yellow because actually the handle here is gonna be also yellow. Okay. I'm just assuming that the blue has it's okay now to add here. And the blue that I'm using is cerulean blue. The question is the following. Like, imagine they are heroes in another world and they're gonna have big problems with pollen. How can you be can you actually be a hero that has allergies? That's what I want to know. That's the question. Could you have allergies as a hero? Or you guys don't think that's a valid... I mean, heroes are supposed to be super good in health and so on, and nobody can touch them or do anything. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to fix some of the things because, you know, the color seeped where it shouldn't. So let me see if I can pull the color off. Go back here. Okay. So now let's try to start adding a darker color. I'm gonna use ivory black and let's see what comes out of it. I'm going to make a puddle. I'm using a tinier one, and you know, we're gonna start adding. Where would shadows be? They'll be here onto the side, and I'm just adding a little bit. They'll be here underneath. Small be here, more here on this side. Okay, this whole part here has a shadow because these are shoulder pads, right? These are shoulder and so on. Let's see if I can make it look like a shadow. Okay. That's one reason why you should have black on your watercolor. Imagine Superman sneezing. That would be a huge superpower. Superman sneezing. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That would surely blow up some trees, I guess. What would Superman be allergic to? That's the question, right? what could I mean, okay, we know that he's allergic to kryptonite, but still, you know, what on earth would make him allergic to anything? Then we need to go deep, because then what are our allergies in the first place? No, I'm not gonna go scientific on here. This is just purely out of curiosity. I haven't really seen heroes that have necessarily disabilities, did we? Not really. Okay, so you see how this changes kind of everything. So I'm going to also deepen here underneath the belt. We can always go extra. Okay, so sneezing superheroes are very important to our lower. That would be so funny. I mean, I'm always sneezing. I couldn't possibly take anybody by surprise with my sneezing. That would be futile. Like, can you imagine? Dun, dun, dun. But assuming you do get into another world and, you know, this thing does get, like, would you choose to do things differently than in this world? Would you choose to follow a different path? Would you choose to go and, you know, maybe follow a not so honest path like you would follow here? That is the question that I have. Would you say, well, if I'm going to go into a different world, I'm going to try something new? Because I'm not sure I would be able to. But I don't know. I'm always thinking, like, you know, if reincarnation really exists and people think, okay, you get reincarnated, will they go like, okay, then this is kind of an endless cycle, so it doesn't matter, and, you know, they're gonna go like super berserk and says, okay, it anyway takes endless time, so whether I screw up in this life, it's just going to set me up back into just the next future lives, but then you can catch up. So would you actually try out things like being a villain and or a scrupulous merchant or something, you know, evil landlord, I don't know, instituting prima nocta if you are the lord, things like that. I don't know, maybe I would like to try, just to see what's the fuss about, you know. And I'm going to do even some more here. All this armor is going to have some really nice darkening. what I want to avoid is not destroy all of the structure. So this is what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm picking up the water and I'm doing it like this. You guys follow The Boys, the series The Boys? That is one question, because that is an interesting antithesis of heroes and power and everything, right? That's an interesting thing. On the outside, they look like, yeah, they're the superheroes, but it's just a facade, right? Because they're actually not real superheroes, right? So the question is, if people will actually get superhero pose in this world. Let's assume it's our world, and all of a sudden something happened. We figure out something, and then a lot of, like, let's say a few people get this like superpowers. Do we honestly believe that power corrupts or not? That is the question. And do you think that those people, I guess there are two ways, right? How they grew up, right? Did they grow up with the powers, and do they think themselves of themselves as entitled or anything? Or did they not grow up with the powers, and, you know, if a person that is in general good comes up with these powers later on in life, will they change the attitude? You know? Will they become evil or worse? Just a thought exercise. What would I do? I don't know. I guess I will be... I might become evil. You never know. I might become evil without me wanting to become evil, right? Because I might become like, oh, but you know, I want to help people, and then I won't be able to help people because, you know, it's not like I understand people very well or anything, and I'm going to try to help people or to do things, and, you know, and ending up doing too much, or, you know, doing something that people actually don't want. You know, maybe people don't want to be saved, or, you know, things like that. I mean, that could be. I think I have some dark here. And another question is, do we think that maybe in our lifetime we are going to have this sort of instance and this sort of things? Like, are we going to have superpowers? Are we going to have in our lifetime, like, technological advances enough to have these superpowers? What do you? Because maybe in our lifetime we are going to be faced with this question. I mean, I'm hoping that we are faced with this question, because otherwise in our lifetime is going to become very boring, to be honest. Because then nothing will happen. Of course, there is a lot of things happening, like with Corona and everything. But I know, in terms of excitement and so on and so forth, nothing is really happening. There's no alien encounters. There's nothing. Right? And in a way strange because we are consuming so much more of this media and so much not only of media but this sci-fi and everything, and it makes us dream, but in reality we're never gonna be like that, right? Purple. Yeah, that works much better with the purple and the red. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to take the purple. Yeah, imagine. Okay, sorry. I was thinking that somebody commented on something, but nobody commented yet. I'm adding an extra layer here. You know, by adding this, you're making objects a little bit more 3D. So that's why we adding the black. I hope that we can see that, and I hope that's really nice. This is gonna be again a long stream, huh? Man, why do I always choose these subjects that are like sword that usually take a long time? Adding shadows is important, right? So I'm always going to add shadows. Makes things 3D and makes them lesser flat, to be honest. So okay. Now we're gonna maybe even deepen some of the colors. Black. Okay, I think maybe we should discuss about black because a lot of people don't like to use black in their watercolor for some reason. And they're thinking it's dirty or, you know, it's not pure watercolors, man. It's not pure watercolors. And I'm like, you can buy several nuances of black on any watercolor, so why would it not be watercolors? I mean, black is allowing you to do shadows and everything, right? So I think we should step away from that and think, oh, black is nice, right? Black is adding depth, black is adding a lot of things, but you have to remember that in watercolors layering is very important, like layering your colors, layering everything. Well, layering, it's called glazing, and that is something that is really important. If you're wondering why I'm hesitating to talk, is because my voice is becoming more and more rasp because of these damn allergies, and I'm having it. I'm having a difficulty into talking. Okay, I made a boo boo here with a sword. I think a little bit, and I'm just going to lift the color up. Okay, that's good. That's much better. Here it needs lots of shadow. I'm not yet very good at where the shadows are and what the shadows leave, so, you know, we're just gonna we're just gonna play pretend a little bit that we know where they are until we think, okay, that's still good enough, you know, and we're done with the shadows, we're done with certain things. Can somebody tell allergies to go away? Please do that for me, because they're starting to piss me off, to be honest. So, I think we've made quite a lot of progress, right? So the question for me now is, do you think we should follow up on the next stream? We finish up the face, we do the hair, and then we do the background here with all sorts of crazy stuff. What do you guys think? Because otherwise, this whole affair is going to last yet another 2 hours or so. So I'm not sure. Do you guys think it's a good idea? Because what I want to do extra is also adding details into the armor. I want to add some leaf details and some like a lot of different things. So I'm going to let you guys decide. So please let me know. It's also a good idea to also step back from a piece whenever you are doing it, because that will give you perspective on what you're doing. So Johan, what do you think? Or Laura? You guys have been more vocal. Okay, Johan says it sounds like a good idea. Okay, so the idea for next time is what we're gonna do to this painting is we're going to finish up the face with all the harsh lines and all the nice parts, right? Shadows and darker areas. We're gonna do the hair. The hair is gonna be bluish. And then we're gonna add lots of details of leaves and stuff, because his name is technically oak tree, right? So you know, his armor needs to reflect that a little bit. And then in here in the back, because he's in the void here, right? It's going to be quite some branches and some dead little things, right? And we're gonna do that, and that's why he's looking so fierce basically now. Okay, for sure. Then I'm gonna say that for now we end this. So let me move it a little bit so you can see. I really like the texture here, and I really like all of these parts. It looks really cool, and we're gonna continue, and maybe we're even gonna do next time some colored pencils just to add texture and everything and finish this one up, right? I hope you enjoyed the talk about coming Sunday part 2. Yes, coming Sunday is going to be part 2. Hopefully by that time I don't have allergies anymore. I don't know. So coming Sunday will be part 2. And we're gonna finish this guy. Yeah. He's really fierce, and I really like his character. Maybe I'm gonna think about a good story for his wife and kids, and you know, bastard child kind of thing. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for staying with me till now. It's 8:30 where I'm at. And this has been a wonderful stream. Thank you again, and I'm going to stop it right now.